Hi, I'm Alex Archbold, and I've been buying and selling antiques since I was 9 years old. From basements to scrapyards, I'll look just about anywhere I can to find lost antiques and collectibles. And sometimes I'll go big and buy everything. With my wife and kids, we run an antique shop in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, filled with some of the most unique items we can find. I never know what's going to happen or who I'm going to meet. This is our life, this is our adventure, and this is Curiosity Inc.
From home, honey.
Good morning, everyone. Well, today I am country bound. I have been, as some of you may know, collecting old Hot Wheel cars. Don't ask me why. I don't usually collect much of anything, but they're small, they don't take up much room. But there's a few that I've been missing from my collection, so I'm going to hit up a few antique stores today and see if I can find some that I'm missing. I'm going to start in the town of Kalmar, Alberta, and visit the antique mall out there and see if they've got anything, and then wind my way back through the city. So come on an adventure with me today as I go antiquing and treasure hunting through other people's stores this time and see what I can find. Follow along. I'm here in the land where parallel parking is an optional skill to have, as most of the vehicles seem to be super far from the curb, but I'm looking forward to the store opening up to see exactly what kind of treasures await. I'm not looking, well actually I might be looking for Pyrex. I always say I'm not looking for Pyrex, but I kind of am for Melissa. I have made my way inside to yesterday's treasure market in Kalmar, Alberta. It is jam-packed, as antique malls often are, but this one particularly has interesting stuff, and it's definitely worth the trip. It's not that far from Edmonton. The reason why I like coming here is that they've got a lot of really unique vendors, and vendors are really what make the magic happen around your shop. You want to make sure that people are carrying interesting stuff and that there's enough variety for everybody. You got to have dishes and ashtrays, but you've also got to have gas pumps and other collectibles. And I try and keep a bit of variety in my own shop, but it is good to get out there and see what is happening out in the rest of the world. But I'm on a mission today. I am trying to find specifically some cool old toys for myself, and I hardly ever shop for myself. You can see there's some nice little toys here, and I can see there's a couple in there that I need. That big long one there is called the Hood. It looks to be in really good condition. And the Swing and Wing back there. Two cars that I need for my collection, and I don't have the Gremlin. Actually, there's a few there. The problem is I think he's asking $100 for the Hood car. I have one. It's not in that great a shape, but if I'm patient enough, I can get one at a better price. So I might hold off on that, but it is nice to see that I'm already spotting some of the things that I'm looking for today, and it makes me wonder what else is around. So let's do a little walkabout and see. We've got some brass sculptures. I always like the more unusual items, like this fire emergency call box there. That's kind of a neat piece for a couple $100. It's probably a fair price for it. It's a neat thing that would have been pole mounted, so you'd have your call box, your call phone in there on the side of the road. It's a neat decoration, especially if somebody's a firefighter. Old signs are always popular. I can see one for, it looks like a great punch perhaps on the wall back here. Old signs are always good to pick up. And generally just, it's nice to poke around and see what other people are buying and what they're selling, from bottles that I don't really get into a whole lot, but you can kind of see what the market's like. You can get lost in your own shop after a while and forget what people are actually looking for. This is a nice desk here with the roller on it. I actually had one of those like that a few years back myself. So that's a nice display piece. I remember when I was at the guy's place, he had essentially this exact type of cabinet, and it had all these great books inside of it. And there were sea captain's logs from the 1800s from Arctic expeditions and stuff. And I said, oh, I'm really interested. And so I come back, and I was moderately interested in the desk, but I was interested in the books. I came back and all the books were gone. I said, where's all the books? He said, oh, I thought you were interested in the shelf. I donated all the books to charity. I went, no, it was the books that I was really after, but I ended up with the furniture either way. It was a cool piece. But that's how it goes. I guess you got to be super clear. I was all excited because it was sea captain's journals and logs going back to early Arctic expeditions, like around the time of Franklin. It was just so cool. And to think it probably ended up, who knows, Who knows where it went? I hope that somebody got it and got a really great deal out of it. I can see this is a friend of mine, my friend Dwayne. This is some of his stuff, which means we trade back and forth a fair bit. So if there's things that I'm looking for, he gives me a call, and I can see he's got some cars in there, but not quite the ones that I'm after. That is, that little clock is kind of neat. When you see a little clock like that and it's kind of fancy looking, that oftentimes would be a car clock, an automotive clock. As back in the old days, you would actually have a single mounted clock like that. You'd have to wind up. They weren't electric, so you'd take it out, you'd wind it, put it back in, or sometimes you'd actually just rotate the bezel on the front and that would wind it. Old car clocks are kind of collectible. If people have a 1920s car without the clock, it's a good accessory to pick up. Oh, here's more and more stuff. But you know, I'm gonna keep browsing because I know that there's gonna be something cool in here today. A little cult beverage sign's pretty neat. Up at the top there. Mid-century lamp. It's just always fun poking around and browsing. Well, if my dad was here, he'd be going through the records. He was just a maniac for records. My mom will tell you, when he passed away, I think there was something like 10,000 records like this that we had to deal with and still are in a way. But that was his passion, and that's what we do. Rocket blowgun. Nothing like giving your kid a blowgun. At least it's not the poison tip blow darts. That would be like, you know, bring one of those back and let your kids loose in the backyard. Camera sets and kits. Okay, I'm gonna keep browsing. I'll see if I can find something. Always looking for oil cans when I'm out in the wild, and people say, why isn't it just garbage? Who collects oil cans? The reason why people collect oil cans is that the graphics are interesting. Maybe they have an affinity for a certain type of station. This is actually kind of a nice little pouring can. That's early. This is probably 20s or 30s era, those square type of cans. Later they'd go to the quarts, the round quarts. But can like that is, you know, $300 to $350 Canadian. Now, others might only be worth $15, $20. That's the thing. It all depends on the logo. It all depends on the label. But if you've got a good eye and you can find this stuff in your barn or in your attic or who knows where, a lot of times I go to the garage and people say, oh, I've bought these out of people's garbage cans where they've thrown them out and said, oh, they're just a bunch of old oil cans out back. And I said, that I spend more money on that than I would on your teacups. But, you know, to each their own. But I'm always looking for stuff like that. And there's definitely a nice variety here at this shop. Here's an unusual lamp. It's mid-century, but it has a little light up sort of ceramic globe on the bottom too. Looks like a big, looks like somebody put a jawbreaker in their mouth, chewed on it for a while, and then spat it out and put it there and turned it into a lamp. It's got that glossy sort of look. That's the worst description of a lamp ever. Anyway, what I should say is look at this. It has this beautiful mid-century vibe. It's got this very artsy, interpretive globe on the bottom that lights up and this wonderful base. It is a really interesting, unique object and surprisingly quite valuable as it turns out. They have close to just a penny shy of $1,000. That one penny. Honey, don't worry, it's a bargain. It's not $1,000, it's $999.99. That psychology actually does work. A lot of times you see a 99-cent price point and it does kind of trick you into thinking, well, I wasn't going to go 1,000, but I would do $999.99. Cool piece, though. You never know what rarities might be hiding in your basements at home, but that's one to look out for. Really fun shop there. Didn't find anything for me today. However, I did get a lead that a guy was looking for a rare telephone that I happen to have at the store. So it might actually end up working out to be a sale. I'm going to hop back in the car, and we're going to head over to the antique mall and see what they've got there. I've actually decided on my way to the Edmonton Antique Mall, I'm going to make a stop at the local Value Village here, because you never know. Here I'm going to antique stores, I might be able to find one at a thrift shop instead for a much lower price. We'll go check out the thrift store and see what we can find. Sadly, there's nothing really old other than this 1980s broken transformer really worth picking up. So I'm going to continue my trip looking for other treasures elsewhere. Oh, there's a Han Solo, but he's a new one. Not feeling it here today, but we'll keep looking. It's funny, I was rushing to go hold the door as I was leaving the thrift shop for a lady because I thought she had her baby with her, and I said, oh, let me get that for you. You got your arms full with the little one. She turned around, it was a big stuffed Santa Claus. I thought it was a baby. I'm like, oh, that's one bearded kid. Oh, anyway, kind of hitting, I've done all this running around today, and so far not found anything for myself. But you know, you got to put the time in if you want to find cool collectibles or even stuff for the shop. So here we go, off to, I guess, our third stop now, which is the antique mall. That's where I'm headed, so let's go check it out. Next stop is the Rocky Mountain Antique Mall. I've always found this antique mall to have a lot of good architectural salvage and some items that you can maybe repurpose and do some cool stuff with, as well as other collectibles and antiques. If I'm in luck today, they'll have some old toys. So let's go on in and see what they've got. The Rocky Mountain Antique Mall is quite large. It's pretty much a warehouse. Lots of places have sort of warehouse spaces like this. One thing that really impressed me though was, look at these cabinets. Here I am looking for antiques, but I am just, you know, all these old apothecary cabinets are just stunning. In fact, I was trying to find stuff like that for my store and I couldn't, and look, they've got a whole bank of them here. So somebody lucked out and got a really great selection of beautiful old cabinets. There's some nice cash registers and old signs. A lot of the same type of stuff that I sell and carry at my store, or things that I look for. What's nice about this place is that they have the room to display a lot of it, where I basically just have room for stalls. There's a little bus fare depot box that would have been inside. You put your coins in there when you get on the bus. Kind of a cool piece. So I'm gonna have a little look around and see if there's any treasures that just have to follow me home today. So I'll start at the back, work my way around to the front. Sometimes I go through a booth and I see things that I've had before, like that case sign. I believe that's the exact same one that I used to have. There's all sorts of fun little things around. These beautiful little Husky toy truck, pressed steel. You know, it's so much fun just looking around and seeing what's going to catch your eye. It's been a while since I've actually been in an antique shop. Usually I'm digging through somebody's house or basement because you're hoping to find things at, you know, more of a reasonable price, I guess. Not that these aren't super cool, but, you know, we're getting retail and, or even sometimes higher than retail, and you really are hoping that you're going to get it, you know, a price that you can resell at. But I was able to find a couple toy cars, so I'm going to go around back up to the front and see if I can make a deal and buy a couple of little toys. Looking at this shelf, I spy a little Jag sign. Look, it's my car, the convertible version. But it's a replica, and it's not anything I need myself right now. Even though it looks like it is 30% off, I have to stay focused. The thing about an antique mall is that every vendor has their own sort of style. This person might be more mid-century, or this person is more sort of knickknacks and porcelain and collectibles like that. And then around the corner, you'll find all kinds of signs and oil cans. Everybody's got their own thing. So there's a little bit of something for everyone. Okay, I had some success. I know this probably seems crazy, you guys. I'm driving all around trying to find toy cars, but what are you gonna do? At the last shop, I ended up finding a car called the Hood, and the guy wanted $100 for it. It was in good shape. I found one in almost the same condition. He had a price at $45, and they took another $10 off, so it was $35. So just by driving to a different shop, I ended up with one in about the same shape, and that will fill a gap in my collection. Condition plays a really big role with these things. You know, if you have one that's got chipped paint and not in great shape, it might only be like $5 or $10. But when you get one in really great shape with good paint, just like anything, condition plays a role. So saved a little bit of money by driving to the other shop. Did find some stuff, and honestly, I'm really just having fun chatting with all the folks that I kind of know in the industry and that I haven't seen in a while too. One last stop to make, and then I'm headed home. I stopped at another antique store, but this time I'm not looking for me. I am looking for something for Melissa. I am trying to find a Pyrex dish, exactly that size, or a Pyrex bowl, I should say, but in the, I think it's the blue Amish butter print. Be darned if I can find one. She has the bigger one, and the smaller one we had was not in good shape. So we have an incomplete set, and she really loves it. So if I can find one for her, That would just make my day. So I'm gonna keep looking around. Toys for me, Pyrex for Melissa. We'll see what we can find. Well, after much searching, I didn't find the Amish butter print. I think that's what it's called, the blue Amish butter print bowl. They did have a big one, but I'm looking for the smaller one that goes inside of it for Melissa. And I did find myself a couple cars, but after a day of searching, a couple neat finds that I'll be able to plug into my collection to fill some gaps there. But it was just nice to kind of get out on the road again and stretch the legs on the old car, and might be my last time driving it for this season if we get a bunch of snow. So thanks for watching today's episode, guys. Come antiquing with me again sometime soon. I'll post these sort of videos every once in a while. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see y'all soon, and as always, bye for now.